Hello, I'm Mr. Smith and this is Learn to Code. In this video you are going to learn how to use the AND, OR and NOT Boolean operators. Up until now you've used simple conditions, that is to say programs that just execute one comparison at a time. Compound conditions is going to change that and will allow your program to make decisions based on multiple comparisons at the same time. Here's an example. So this is our day trip program. Let's just run it. There we go. Let's do something less boring. Would you like to do something indoors or outdoors? Let's say indoors. It's been quite cold recently. Enter. Oh, would you like to relax or be active? We'll relax. Let's see what it's got. Okay, how about watching a film at the cinema? Right, let's just run this again. Let's just see what happens. We'll stay indoors. Yeah, but this time we'll go active. Let's go to Inflatonation! That sounds like a great idea, don't you love that place? Alright then, so how does this work? Well, let's take a sneaky peek at the code. Get a little bit bigger, make sure it's all on one line, everything looks good. There we go, it's close enough. Okay then, so the first thing it does, line 4, it outputs let's do something less boring. That should be a very simple piece of code for you by now. Line 6 sets up a variable for us, so it assigns the variable location to the value of nothing. Then, while not location, ooh, interesting. Let's just see how what this actually does, shall we? So that you can see what's going on. Let's just run this. Would you like to do something indoors or outdoors? So if I just press enter, look. So while there's nothing being entered, so while there's nothing in the location variable, it keeps repeating the same piece of code. Now we could have written this differently. Let's just put outdoors. Would you like to relax or be active? And again, if I just press enter, I'm not putting anything in, so it's empty. It just keeps asking me the question. This time I set it up slightly differently, but they're working the same way. So on line 11, we've said while activity is equal to nothing, which is essentially what we're saying, we're telling it to ask the question over and over and over again. Now, you can put this, so activity is equal to absolutely nothing, but it is a lot cleaner just to write NOT's location. So what I could do here is put while not activity, that, stop that, run that again, let's go outdoors, and again, so it's exactly the same thing, it's just a different way of doing it, whichever way you're happiest with, okay? Personally I think this looks cleaner, but the other way perhaps makes more sense to people. Anyway, let's just put we want to be active. Let's go climbing at Let Loose. Not been there yet. Does look good fun though. Maybe a school field trip is in order. Okay then, so it then moves on to the next part. Okay, and we're using elifs. So we've got if location is equal to indoors and, now this is the key term, okay, and activity is equal to relax. If both of those things are true, it prints out this line. So in this case, we had outdoors and active. So outdoors, no, not true, not true, so it's never going to print this line. Else if location is equal to indoors and activity is active, well, activity was active, but indoors wasn't. So it didn't print this line for us. Okay, because both of these things were not true, only one of them was true. Line 18, same idea. Outdoors was true, but activity is false, so it won't print this line. It's only when it gets to this line where both of those things are true that it then prints out our following line. Okay, now if neither of those things were true, let's just run that. So let's just put outdoors, and we will put active. Okay, maybe just binge watch something on Netflix, because neither of these things were true. Now, interestingly, what might happen if we use a capital letter, do you think? Outdoors and active. Okay, so it doesn't like that either. Why is that? Well, it's because the capital O is a different binary number to the lowercase o, so when this got converted to binary for the computer to understand it, because remember, computers only understand binary, it didn't match perfectly. Okay, so, whew, that was quite a lot, wasn't it? Now, I did say there were 3 Boolean operators, and the other one is OR. Okay, so if we was to swap this out for, say, OR, and run again, okay, let's go for, we'll go for indoors. In fact, actually, and then what I'll do is I'll just put some let's go to inflammation. Inflammation? Inflatonation. We know what inflammation, that would be awful. Okay, so we're going to inflatonation. That's quite funny. Okay, so I have to pause the video in a second just to get over the laughter. Okay. Okay, so it prints out that first line, but it ignores the rest because it's in an elif. Okay, or an elif. Else if statement. Okay, so that's what the OR does. Only one of them has to be true in order for it to work, which doesn't really make this particularly useful. So, how could we write an OR statement? Well, I am going to write a new replit. Let's go for Python, and we'll go for, spell it correctly, Boolean OR. That's what we're going to call it. Demonstrating the Boolean OR operator. Okay then, so when do we use OR? We use OR when more than one possible answer is going to be true. Okay, now it could be, for an example, you might want to use it to account for uppercase, lowercase letters. So different ways of actually doing something. It's probably better though to change the input to all lowercase so it can be compared, unless it has to be case sensitive. That would probably just be a better way of doing it. Okay, but here we go. So let's just go for, we're gonna subject equal to inputs speech marks. What is your favorite subject? That will do nicely. Okay, so obviously everybody's favorite subject is going to be computer science, but then some people might say, well, actually it's computing, because they, we use it either word, it doesn't really matter. So what we can do is this then. If subject equals, and we could say computing, or subject equals computer science, then print excellent. Oh, mine too. Now, we can also have an else in here, so we'll say else, and we will print, thinking something that we could print. It's nice, but I prefer computer science. Okay. Ta-da! So, now we can do this, look. Your favorite subject. Computer science. Excellent. Oh look, spelling error. There we go. Let's run that one more time. Or we could say computing. Excellent. Mine too. What's your favorite subject? Photography. That's nice, but I prefer computer science. Ha ha ha! How about that, eh? Okay then, so we need a challenge. What could we do for a challenge? Well, I'll tell you what, you could just have a go at writing your own program that makes use of not, and or Boolean operators. Okay, have a go.